Hey guys, it's Reyd here from Allspek. Behind me we have one of Australia's toughest NPS trucks. We've got 2 rooftop tents, a fully custom boat loader. This thing has had absolutely everything thrown at it. We're going to take on a full walkthrough. Come check it out. Alrighty guys, so we're going to start at the front for today. Up on the very front of the bull bar, we've got a pair of the laser lamps. These are the Sentinel 9-inch spotlights. These things are absolutely phenomenal. Up the top, we've got a laser lamps, linear 36. They're an absolutely phenomenal light bar as well. Where laser really stand out is the optics behind the actual LED and the design that they have there. They are all waterproof and fully submerged before they even leave the factory. The lights are second to none. Up on the roof platform, you'll see we've got another couple of the laser lamps, the Linear Elite 6 Plus. Now these have their 4 color options inside the light. Now that's going to be a standard white, high output white. Then we actually have an amber and white combo. So the light output on those, again, is really good if you're driving through any of those inland tracks at night time. Work lights around the campsite, even just getting set up for packing up in the dark. Moving around up at the headboard of the tray. Now this is an ATW tray, so we have worked with them to do part of this truck. However, up on the headboard, we've then adapted and mounted in our 4-button keypads. This is for left, right, rear work light control and water pump control, all from the exterior of the vehicle. So if you do have any of those weekends away where you get covered in mud, maybe you've got dirt bikes, coming back, you don't have to open the truck, crawl in, turn a water pump on, you don't have to go into the canopy, you can do it all from the outside here. They're a fully waterproof, UV stable keypad, and they're all laser etched icons too. So you're not gonna have any of that print that gets worn off after the first 6 months. These things are built to last, and they do absolutely do that. Moving into the canopy on the driver's side of the vehicle. Now inside here we've gone for what is the E3DF configuration. This is definitely built based on what is the Cartwright's build. So moving into this one, we've got our updated power board now with a full red arc system. We've got a 3000 watt inverter. We've got a 100 amp manager alpha charging system with the TVMS 1240 Rogue. So that's all the red arc digital switching system. That system entirely integrates into itself, and then all of your information and data is displayed on the red arc screen here. This is also where we control all of our switching outputs. So it's going to be fridges, LED lighting. We have left, right, rear work light control around the truck as well. Inside the canopy, we've gone for a 1300 roof basket that's mounted up nice and high. Now these do fix into our uni-strut welded into the roof. So these are fully adjustable. You can go forward, rearward, and actually move them back into the rear of the truck or move them out. If you do need to store any bigger items, you can completely unbolt that and remove that out of the canopy itself. Behind the shelf, we've got an electric hot water system tucked up in behind there. Now that's a 15-litre Duetto hot water system, and we have our control panel for that mounted up on the power board here. In the front right corner, we've gone for a 40-litre Evercool drawer fridge freezer. Fantastic option if you do want to have some of those bigger trips and you need to actually take some frozen food, or alternatively, if you want to keep it as a drinks fridge, which is most commonly used for. In the front corner, you're going to see we do have an isolator switch here. Now this is for the boat loader up on the roof. We'll get to that very shortly. Beside the 40-litre drawer fridge, we do have our drawer bench. Now a little bit different on this one. This customer's opted for what is our premium foam craft flooring. Now this is a full 6mm U-deck flooring that's actually CNC cut to suit both canopy tops, drawers, inners, everything there as well. Closing that drawer bench back up. Moving into the rear, another big large storage drawer as well. Again, we have the U-deck liner in here. In the canopy doors, we do have all your standard LED strip lighting, central locking. This is all tied into the vehicle itself. Control for the LED lighting is through the red arc switching system up on the front right-hand side there. Moving rearward into this back canopy, we do have our outboard slide. So this is a 20 horse Tohatsu 4-stroke motor. Now we do have all the fuel tanks and everything like that inside the shed waiting for the customer to pick this up tomorrow. This outboard slide is using an L-Max slide, bolts, and it brings the outboard right out to the outside of the canopy, so you can lift that up and down nice and easily. Moving down into the lower toolbox, we've actually gone and mounted an Oasis air compressor into there. These things are absolutely phenomenal. The air output on this is next level. For a truck like this, where you're pumping up to nearly 100 PSI on some of these tyres, we've got these plumbed through to 3 pressure regulators, each independently set for the front, rear, and caravan tyre pressures. So what that means, turn your compressor on, you're going to have a hose for the front axle, you're going to have a hose for the rear axle. plug those into the corresponding outlets. And then we also have on the rear an additional outlet for the caravan where the customer can then set this pressure to suit the caravan tyres as well. So that way they can set up, hit the button, they're going to wait around for 5-10 minutes while this thing pumps up all the tyres, change to the opposing side of the vehicle, and off they go. So the performance on these things is absolutely second to none. Up above me, we've got Bush Company Outhouse. Now this is a fantastic shower tent. We've got it on a swing out bracket. This way it opens right out, still clears the rear canopy door. So if you do have anything in here, you can still utilize it. That being said, you're also not having to pack up camp every time you want to have a shower. So this shower tent does drop down. It has rigid poles that actually have it out and open with a nice big roof over the top as well. Stowing that one back away. All right, coming around the back, we do have the blend tap for the shower outlet. Now this is your hot and cold plumbing into the tap, and then you actually adjust the temperature of the water coming out here. Now on the back wall, you're gonna notice a couple of new products. Left and right hand side, we've got some drop down ladders. Now this is sort of a mimic of what is our center mounted rear ladder. And these are all part of the boat loader itself. So this boat loader, you'll see we've got two massive backbones down the entire side of the roof. And in between those, we have a TX27 Max rooftop tent by the Bush Company. Now, if you're not familiar with these tents, they're an absolute behemoth. They are phenomenal. They are a really cool tent, but the size of them does make it very difficult to do much around them. So having one up on the roof of the cab and an additional one on the back of the canopy, this is for a family of 6. So needing that space and needing that rooftop tent if they wanted to go away and get out remote, but they didn't want to sacrifice and miss out on having the boat. So we've built and engineered this entire boat loader with a removable frame on the top that allows you to actually load and unload the boat. When the boat's off, you can pull the bars out and then utilize the rooftop tent. So the boat loader on this project definitely posed some challenges. Customer wanting to have the 2 rooftop tents and take the tinny with them. So the boat loader had to straddle over the top of the rooftop tent, and it did need to be easily removable. So to do that, we've utilized 3 east-west bars. Now these are an aluminium construction, so they're relatively lightweight, and these actually slip down and into some Delrin bushings that help locate and guide that pin into position. So once these bars get positioned into those bushings, they drop down nice and easily. They're solid as a rock. So the boat, when it gets up and onto the bars, it is guided and located in these upright tabs. As it comes through, it then narrows at the front and back catches the bow of the boat. The boat is then secured down into the gussets that are supporting these bars, also acting as the eyelets for our tie down point for the straps. At the front of the headboard, we do have a carbon off-road winch. Now that rope does come right out down. It is actually what is used to pull the boat up and onto the roof. Back wall of canopy, 2 spare wheels. Now obviously that is an entire wheel carrier with a tyre support, so 80-90 kilos for these super singles. They're a heavy bit of kit. Down low we do have our rear axle and our caravan axle. Now these are the air outlet fittings that are plumbed in through our pressure regulators. So the pressure regulators are set for the corresponding axle pressures for the actual tyres themselves. All set up, ready to tow for the caravan, and we have a rear carbon off-road winch. Before we load this boat up onto the back of this truck, we thought we'd take 2 minutes to run you through what we've done. Now, we've worked with Tim from Makercraft. He's helped us deliver a couple of these boat packages now. So this is a 376 topper tracker. We've gone and added an aluminium false floor, and then we've gone and done a full sea deck liner. Again, this has been tailored to the customer. We've got a cubby up the front, we've got lockable latches, that's a sealed unit, and then we have their logos embroidered in the front with a nice symmetrical pattern down the center of the boat. It does have a fully collapsible bimini, and if you may or may not have noticed, it does sit lower than the gunnel of the boat, so that means that we can leave the bimini in the boat and actually load it up onto the roof of the truck. Coming around, one of the last things on the rear of the truck is going to be the deck wash inlet at the back here. Now, this is supplying through a UV water sterilizer. It's a charcoal canister. There's a replaceable cylinder up underneath the actual truck itself. And this is going to fill into the water tanks of the truck. So if you're in some shady areas or you're not too sure on the water supply that you've got, you can either run it through that sterilizer, or you can always drop a pump into a creek as well and fill those tanks. Again, on the passenger side now of this rear canopy, so a nice big open storage. With the foam car floor, something that we can do is have custom embroidery or engraving into the flooring itself. With the contrasting colors there, it looks fantastic, really nice bit of kit. Taking through that same process, we can add it into door badges if it's something that tickles your fancy, and even interior that we'll get to very shortly as well. Up above, we've got the Bush Company 270 XT Max awning. Now this will fold right forward to the front of the vehicle and then around to the rear of the vehicle as well, actually sheltering over the entire back end of that truck. Moving into the passenger side of the canopy. Now this is your camping and your luxury side. So starting from the rear, we have our full slide out kitchen. Inside the kitchen, we've got the foam flooring just on the base. Now this is deliberate. We've left the walls a little bit clean so that you can, if there is any sort of food or any grime, a bit easy to wipe down. Up above, we've still got some of the detailed flooring. In the pantry, we've gone for the flooring right through as well. So this is going to be in all of the shelving, top to finish. You'll see here we do have a Bushman 130 litre fridge, and then we do have a nice little detail in front of the fridge for them as well. Beside it, we've got our appliance pantry. Now this one slides right out. We have ample room for a 12-volt pie oven, microwave storage. We've got a toaster pie machine that'll go up into here, toaster up the top, coffee machine in the front pocket here as well. Now power is wired up and into this appliance pantry. Likewise, into the back of our standard pantry if someone has that coffee machine one there. LED lighting, so this is going to be both white and amber LED lighting up underneath the doors, central locking, all ready to go. Back back left-hand corner, we do have twin GPO outlets. Now these are a 15 amp outlet that's ready to go for our induction cooktop. We have red and grey Andersons, red for solar input, grey for power out, a couple of USB outlets as well. Sneaking through the front here, you're going to see we have our 3 pressure regulators all mounted up on the front of this truck. And again, we have another left, right, rear work light keypad. So that's going to be controlling any of the loads around the vehicle that you might want without having to get into the vehicle itself. Now these pressure regulators, nice and easy to set, and we do have a pressure gauge on the front of those regulators as well. Moving into the front of this truck, so we've gone and worked with Pro Seat up in Brendale. They've done us a full custom interior. Now the colour and the stitching has all been chosen specifically for this customer. So we've got black leather with grey stitching. We've gone and embroidered their logo again into the headrest of this truck, really adding that personal detail and touch. We've done a full stereo system upgrade. Now this is front and rear speakers. They're all run through an amplifier. All done properly and in-house. In front of the rear seats, we've got a smoke fab storage cubby holder, and then in front of that, we've got 4 USB outlets. We've gone and added that one as well. On the roof, you're going to see we've got a rear air conditioning unit that's going to be adapted into the back of this truck. It ties into the factory system. It's a really nice kit made by RAC 2000. They do a lot of the Isuzu stuff in the early 2000s and the early teens. They were actually the OEM for Isuzu when the trucks were brought in without the factory aircon system. So really high quality product. The attention to detail and the fit is OEM, literally. Into the front of the truck now. Again, upgraded front seats. The driver they have opted for a Shieldman seat in the driver's seat. And then again with the full rear upholstery of the factory front seats. It's got like your, I suppose your Ford style, XR6 style bucket seat. And they actually use the factory Isuzu seat frame. So that's not an upgrade that needs any sort of modification plate or engineering paperwork that goes with it. But they do a full rear bolster, and then it's got like an airbag in the back cushion as well. Moving into the interior of the truck, so in front of both the passenger and driver's seat, we do have a quad lock mag-based wireless charger. Just mounted to the grab rail here. We've got our 8-button keypad, so again controlling left, right, rear work lights, air compressor. We've got color change mode, roof light bar and spotties down the front. We've got our UHF radio also switched through here. UHF radio, we're using the XRS 370 C4P, so it's the 4-wheel drive pack. Does have the short stubby aerial that everyone's going to be familiar with, mounted up on the brush bars, and then built into this radio we have some GPS functions, some really cool stuff as well. For this one, we've gone for a full airlift airbag control system. So this does run front and rear airbags. So there's not a whole lot of options in systems that control and give you independent control over the front and rear. So a 4-channel system, airlift do that exactly for us. So plumbed into what is a really high output compressor. We've got a 27-litre air tank down the back. And then this gives us full air control of front and rear axles, independent left and right hand side as well. Up top, we've gone for a wolf box dash cam. So these are both front and rear dash cam. However, these also act as a rear view mirror. So these are a really nice product. These are a HD picture, and using them, it is very intuitive. It feels like a rear view mirror. Closing this one out, a couple of details we sort of didn't necessarily talk about on the way through. We've got Starlink up on the roof. Now this is a Gen 3 tough dish. These are a fantastic kit for anyone that needs to work on the road. Anyone who's just taking some photos, doing a bit of a social media post themselves, the Starlink Mini is more than sufficient. Anyone that needs that reliability, definitely jumping into the Gen 3 tough dish. Moving on from there, we've got solar up on the roof. We've got 400 watts up on this front rooftop tent. And we do have 400 amp of lithium tucked into this thing as well. So massive power system. The alternator we have done an upgrade on, so we've got a 180 amp alternator. This is a high output unit, and this enables us to run that 100 amp DC-DC charging and still have a bit in the tank for the caravan, as well as running the actual truck and the accessories bolted to the truck. Guys, if you like what you've seen here today and you have a project in mind, reach out. We'd love to be involved.